guys, we're back once again with another video. This one I thought would be a really cool one to do, sitting around thinking about it last night, but man, what else could I do for you guys? So this is gonna be every guitar that I've owned, from my very first guitar all the way up to my current guitar that I have right now, just everything that I've been through. I got quite a list here. I'm actually gonna count them out. Let me see how many I've had. Let's see. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22 guitars that I've had from the time I started playing when I was 10 years old up to now. I'm 36. I'll be 37 in June. So this is gonna be fun. This will be a trip down memory lane. I can share it with you guys. I'm actually gonna see if I can pull up some pictures of some of these and I can share them in this video. So the very first guitar that I ever got was it was like a Fender Strat knockoff, which was the brand was called Lady Luck. I don't even know. Actually, let's do a search real quick. Let me see if I can find them. So what it was is, like, I really liked Kirk Hammett's guitar that he was playing in one. But it's like when I went to the guitar store the very first time that it came time when my dad and I went to this music store to pick a guitar out. It's like I wanted to have a guitar like Kirk Hammett had. I still to this day don't like those Explorer bodies like Hetfield played. Never really was my cup of tea. But I wanted to have Kirk Hammett's guitar. It looked awesome. But let me see if I can find any pictures, and then I'll be able to, because I remember last time I tried doing a search on this and I just couldn't find anything. And then the first amp I ever got with that guy gave us a great deal too. I think we got the guitar and I think it was a 75 watt PV. I mean, a lot of people's first amps were PVs. Those things just rocked the house. It was a tube amp too. Thing would just blow the roof off. It was awesome. Yeah, so he gave us that PV amplifier with the guitar for like $200 out the door. You know, really, really cool. Really nice guy. Yeah, and I rocked on that guitar, that amp. I had that amp for quite some time. Played that guitar for maybe about a good 3 or 4 years before I turned around and sold it. Actually, it was a little bit less than that, because what it was is we leveled up to, I can't find any pictures on this this poor guitar, but you guys know what a Fender Strat or Squire looks like, and then it had its own kind of headstock. So yeah, that was my first guitar, and then I graduated to the next guitar, which was a Jackson JDR 94. It was like a reddish orange color, almost like the General Lee was in Dukes of Hazzard. It had that kind of color on it, and that was a great guitar. It was awesome, you know, for the price they were asking for it at the time. So actually what we did was, now I'm kind of putting all this back together now I'm thinking about it. We took that guitar to Guitar Center. They gave us like $50 for the guitar to like basically use that towards this Jackson that I ended up getting, and they turned around, put it back on the floor, and sold it for the price that we paid for it brand new. Go figure. And then moving on to the third guitar that I had, which I absolutely could not stand, and I still can't stand this guitar to this day. Every time I think about how much of a piece of shit it was a ESP LTD M307. So that was my first 7-string ever, and then after that I just, you know, that put a bad taste in my mouth on 7-string guitars, because this particular one, it was the wrong tree cut down. It should have just stayed in the ground, because this guitar had a very hollow sound to it. A better pickup did not save the guitar. Like, nothing would save the way it sounds. A lot of times when you guys pick up a guitar and you start playing on it, you can just kind of tell before you even plug it in an amplifier, kind of resonation you're going to get, just any kind of overtones, undertones, anything, if it's going to sound thin or tinny to you. You'll get that vibe when you pick the guitar up and play it. And I just remember when I plugged it in the store, I don't even know why I really thought that I wanted it, because I mean, what I was plugging into at this guitar store, they didn't have really any amps that I at the time knew that were good for metal, because it was more of a like a rock, blues, jazzy kind of guitar store. They didn't really cater to the metal community, and metal wasn't even really that big as it is now back then. So this store, I was kind of limited with my options of what I could plug into, what I think might sound good with the guitar. So took a risk. It became it was like my graduation present when I graduated high school, and even plugging into my own stuff, getting a new pickup, just everything about this guitar I couldn't stand. It had a really like baseball bat kind of neck on it, so it was like a wide neck and it was a real deep neck. And I've seen, you know, like guy from Beneath the Massacre played it, and you know, records sound pretty good from what he got out of it. And then there's been a couple other death metal bands I've seen that have that guitar, but just that one, that tree sucked balls. That guitar sucked, and I hated it. So it's out of my life. And actually then we move on to this guitar that somebody traded me from, I think he was from Vegas or something like that. I'm trying to paint the picture how this all went down. But I mean, this was before like the social media we have now, where we were kind of conversating through email. I think he found me on maybe it was metaltabs.com or something like that, and we kind of talked back and forth through email. You know, I had this 7-string guitar that I wanted to get rid of, and he happened to have a USA. I have not seen another model like this ever. It was like a crackle finished Jackson USA Soloist with the 2 humbuckers. And I do have a couple pictures of this guitar, which I'll put in this video right here. This was when I was in Gut Rot. That was the first and only band I was ever in. We were a local grind / slam death metal kind of band, and I played with Gut Rot for about maybe a year and a half, and then that was that, and moved on. But that guitar, it played itself. It was an amazing guitar. It had a lot of dings on it. It was quite beat up, but it didn't matter. That guitar just, I mean, it took on a life of its own, the way it played, the way it sounded. That was like pretty much what reeled me in with you know, the EMGs, the active EMG 81, 85. The 85, now that I've got to compare it to like a 60, you know, in the neck position, I really like the 60 a lot better than I like the 85, but more on that later. And then the other guitar, I kind of skipped ahead a little bit. The next one that I got, and a lot of you guys know this story, is there was a while when my parents were divorced where I was just kind of jamming by myself, doing my own thing, getting into the heavier, you know, more extreme side of metal, playing the Cannibal Corpse, the Malevolent Creation, trying to play Suffocation, not doing too well because that stuff is still hard to this day, but just trying to, you know, play a lot of this aggressive extreme stuff. But I was picking up on the Cannibal stuff really, really well with that Jackson JDR 94, my second guitar. So a little bit of time passed, and you know, my dad came to pick me up one day from when I was living with my mom and my sister. So we headed over to Guitar Center, and that's, you know, what father-son used to do. We go to music stores and do that kind of stuff. So we went into Guitar Center, and they had, back then, Guitar Center had like all the top-of-the-line stuff. They didn't have just, you know, painted firewood with strings on it like they do now. Now it's just, you know, a collage of junk when you go in there. But every now and then you can catch something that's a good deal or something higher end. But very rarely do you have that happen. But anyway, we go into Guitar Center, and right at the top there was a Jackson Randy Rhoads 1 right there for $9.99. And I knew that was a mistake because I knew how much, even me being the young kid, I knew what these guitars went for. I knew what the price tags were. And the guy happened to be right next to that guitar on a ladder. He had all these different tags. You know, he was making adjustments, whatever he was doing. I said, "Excuse me, is that correct on that Jackson Randy Rhoads up there?" He's like, "No, actually it isn't. I'm about to hang another tag on it right now." And he pulled out a tag for $4.99, and the guitar was brand spanking new. There wasn't a scratch, a ding. There was nothing wrong with this guitar. It was brand new USA Randy Rhoads 1 for $4.99. So I just like, I lost my freaking mind. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So, like, well, can I play it? You know, he's like, "Oh yeah, sure." So he hands me the guitar, and like I said, at this point, my dad hadn't seen me play for a while. And I was playing all the Cannibal stuff. I think at that time I was playing, I had gotten most of Gallery of Suicide album tabbed out. I was able just picking up on that stuff, picking up on the Vile album, just playing all this. Like, Cannibal really got me with my trill speed, which you guys saw in, you know, Rip and Riffs episode 4. I got that shit so fast now. But it's like thanks to Cannibal and just playing all that kind of stuff. And I was playing on this guitar for over an hour. And finally, like, all right, we got to go. You know, my dad comes up to me, we got to go now. But I remember my dad was just blown away by just, you know, the skill, like where I took my playing. It just went into a whole different dimension. So came time, I had to hand the guy the guitar back. He puts it back up on the rack, and I'm kind of walking away like this. Like, I don't want to leave the store. I can't take my eyes off this thing, and just the way it resonated with me, the way that was like the perfect relationship. So he puts that guitar back, and then about a week later, my dad picks me up, and he's like, "All right, what do you want to do today?" And I said, "I don't know, let's go to the guitar store." He's like, "Well, before we do that, I got something for you in the back seat." Like, I got all excited, man, because I knew. And so I got out of the passenger seat. I opened up the back door, and there was that big Jackson Charvel case for the Randy Rhoads right there. Holy shit! I feel like I earned that guitar with the kind of skill that I was, playing all this stuff. But that was really, really cool. It was either an early Christmas or a birthday present. I can't remember what time of year that was when I got the guitar, but I felt like I definitely worked for that one, and that was amazing. And you'll never see a price tag like that ever again on one of those guitars. That was such a steal to get that guitar for that price. And I played that one for a lot of years, and then unfortunately, you get older. I do construction, or I did at the time, and when you're trying to make bills and stuff and keep making a living, it's like you'll get tons of work, and then you'll be off of work for a month, and then you're scraping by trying to figure out how to pay your bills. And unfortunately, those kinds of times would happen, and that's where I have a lot of these guitars where they've come and gone. Unfortunately, those bills don't go away when we get older, and you got to make your bills. So that guitar ended up selling in probably around 2004, 2005. I parted ways with that. But let's move on. I mean, that one was definitely worth talking about, though, because the Jackson Randy Rhoads 1 USA model is very, very sick. Never put any upgraded pickups in it either. It had the Trembucker pickup in there in the bridge, and then it had the I think they put a 59 or something in the neck position. And I rocked that guitar out for a lot of years. Where's the wood missing? Like, there's something wrong with this thing. I just couldn't put the guitar down, or my buddy's like, so are you gonna buy this ugly piece of shit or what? I am a dick, but I am a nice guy at the same time, because this kind of shit is unacceptable to me. It just pisses me off.